Talib put this post out, or it wasn't a post. Talib's just been going back and forth with random fans. He's even been going on random fans on According to Hip Hop's Instagram too. But he put up something I thought was interesting. He said Ye has many sexist, misogynist lyrics and has worked with many, many, many gangster rappers who rap about violence and drugs, including but not limited to Pusha T, Jay Z, Chief Keef, Lil Durk, Cameron, Beanie Siegel, Scarface, Future, Lil Wayne, and many more. He also went on Drink Champs last year and said that he only posed as a backpacker because he really enjoys violent street rap. You're a liar and a hypocrite. So much to unpack there. Marquez
Where did
Davis,
this get
huh?
where did this get pulled from?
This was from his thread. He was going back and forth with somebody. I guess the person in the initial comment. Actually, you know
Okay, so
what?
this
This was
was
a
this
this
isn't the
was
one you
his.
pulled up in our thread, is
No,
what you're
no.
saying.
This was actually a post where he posted about Takeoff's passing and said rest in peace. And someone got in his comments and said, this is what Kanye was addressing the cowardice nature of many people in the industry to not speak up to the real injustices being perpetuated via media owned by those who are not amongst us. The killing of black men and the sexual exploitation and denigration of black women, instead of refining Kanye's language and joining him in the cause that most are afraid to join, instead, many have succumbed to annihilate him. Everyone not perfect, but we can find a mutual ground. And so that was, one of his responses to that. And I thought that was a decent comment. The person was saying, look, obviously his language needs help, but overall, this is what he's talking about. And instead of Talib being like, you know what, he could work on that. I don't like that he said this, this, and this, but we can get on the same page with that. He chose this direction to go. And then he
I'm gonna
kept calling people the N word that has a Z in
I'm gonna so
it.
so funny. I'm gonna try to start off with some positives. First of all, after listening to West Side Gun's Hitler's Where Hermes 10, I can say that Peppers is the best song on their Not Science class, and that Talib has the best verse on that song. And although I don't think it's a verse of the year contender, because when I mean verse of the year contender, I mean one of the 5 to 7 best verses this year. I think it is maybe top 20 ish. And I think it's just as good as anything that he spit on No Fear of Time. And maybe even a little bit more infectious in terms of how well he sounded over that beat. So let's start off with the positives by saying that. And No Fear of Time is still going to be very highly ranked on our albums list at the end of the year because it is a great piece of work, even though it's not a classic and not even as highly rated as we had it rated prior. With all of that being said, Mike, I really just wish he would stop. And this is what I mean when I say I'm going to try to like handle things better, and be the bigger and better man about how I talk about matters like these. He has to understand that he is doing this with a consistency that is creating an annoyance for people who want to love him. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like this backlash is coming from a faction of people who want to be opposed to him because I'm not one of those people either. I just don't care for how he is handling things. And I really wish somebody close to him would tell him that, he's disintegrating a lot of the things that he's done as a high caliber MC for the most part of his career. He's definitely always been like Mike at worst. I would think even if you don't like to live, you would say he was a B minus MC.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even if you didn't like him, I think you would say that. So he may not be
He's put in the work too, and he has the
right.
projects. He has songs like The Blast. He has
Right.
Get By. He got
So he's
Move
not
Something.
somebody.
So
He's not somebody whose talent mystifies you like a Jay Electronica. He's definitely not in the Jay or Nas or Big or Pop category, and he's not even exciting like somebody who's around right now like a Stove. But he has created a nice career, a nice lane for himself. And really, what he is doing with this behavior is destroying a lot of the goodwill that his music did. And I don't think he understands that part about it. And I just really want him to just stop and breathe for a minute and just like check himself about some of these matter and start asking himself like this question: do you want to win the battles or do you want to win the war? Because the man that tries to win every battle usually wears himself out and wears his army thin, so that when the big battles come and it's time to win the war, where your troops are worn out on your message and they're not willing to fight, and you get thrashed when it matters most.
Oh, that's deep. Let me get to this super chat, and I want to say something on top of that. Marquez Davis says, correction, Mike. They used gangster rap for both Tupac and Biggie when they were shot. Yeah, they did. I remember that. I never understood it either. Like, what the hell does that even mean? It's a media created term, and I'm going to get into that in a second. Jay Short with the super chat says, Talib is a hypocrite. After his second album, he was complaining about being labeled a conscious rapper. He even called his album Prisoner of Consciousness. I do remember that. Wow. Fans rejected it, and he's been mad ever since. Now he wants to be MLK again. Jadarian with the super chat says, we can't forget that street cats were an important part in the radical organizations like the Black Panther Party. Of course. Let's see. Let me get to these other super chats. I think we might be good. All right. That's what I want to say though. Imagine that you bought with your own money. You ain't talking about streams. You bought 9 Talib albums, Black Star album. Whenever he's in your town, you go to his shows, and you just disagree with him on something on social media, and you as a fan just put in whatever you put in and weren't disrespectful or anything. And this guy calls you an asshole or whatever he wants to call you, an N-word with a Z in it, or he calls you an idiot, and it's like, really? You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't know or care, I would say. He doesn't care that the people that he's responding to so violently, really, could be one of his supporters and supported him for the past 20 years. And it's like you said, is it that important to be right on an individual topic? Like, I just don't understand either, like, how he has the time to do this. Like,
I mean, not being funny, this type of this is the art of war, Mike, and this is what I mean for the stuff that and this is what I mean. I'm referencing this to him. I feel like the right way. Do you want to win the battles or do you want to win the war? Because I'm going to tell you how history goes in this nation. See, the Confederacy was concerned with winning every single battle, Mike, because they were so worried about championing their cause. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
While they're trying to win every battle, the Union is strategizing a way to strategically place themselves in certain areas to strike at certain points to devastate them. Right. So while one side is literally concerned with winning every battle and wearing their troops thin in the process, the other team is strategizing about how to dilapidate the troops at certain points. But here's the reality of the matter. They didn't even have to dilapidate them the way they thought. They dilapidated themselves with their behavior and their war tactics.
Yeah.
So it made the job that much easier. The reason that the Union was able to rush the Confederacy is because the Confederacy had already worn itself out some, on top of the Union having a superior strategy. And so if he wants to win the war, in the art of war, how this goes, in order to defeat your enemy, you must first learn to do what your enemy does, feel what your enemy feels, and think what your enemy thinks. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, does your enemy behave and think this way? For all this stuff that he's kicking, does your enemy think and behave this way? Because I'm telling you that they don't, and they're looking at you and they're laughing.
Yeah.
And as as your brother, I'm going to stop talking shit about you and try to help you and tell you to stop and think and strategize and stop being concerned with every single battle.
Miss LB with the super chat says, it's a difference between telling street stories for awareness But his new this new generation is about killing ops and gang wars and no alternative. The elders at least put wisdom in to make you think. Jay Short says Talib is mad that he didn't turn out to be a cop. Um, to piggyback on what Miss LB said, I was kind of thrown by this part of what he had to say. He included Jay Z, Scarface, and Lil Wayne into the gangster rap category. Now, am I reading that wrong? He said many gangster rappers who rap about violence and drugs, including but not limited to Pusha T, Jay Z, Chief Keef, Lil Durk, Cameron, Beanie Siegel, Scarface, Future, Lil Wayne, and many, many more. Now, I've never considered Jay Z to be a gangster rapper myself. I haven't, and again, and that's why I ask, like, if Jay is a gangster rapper, does that make Nas a gangster rapper? Because I'm thinking kind of like what Miss LB said. This he kind of tells street tales, and he gives you the beginning, middle, and end.
So
Nas
this is
does
what
that too. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't feel like you know what I mean. Like am I wrong here? And I definitely never felt like Lil Wayne was a gangster rapper.
okay. So this is what I mean.
What's a
For me,
gangster rapper? I need
I've
help.
never classified Jay Z as a gangster rapper either, and here's why. His writing prose, Mike, or the shit that he doesn't write, the prose of it, Mike, the formulation of it, the intent, and the thought process behind it, it is more, Mike, it's more Toni Morrison than Easy E. I don't know how else to say it. Like, it's not gangsta. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. Like, Jay is extremely, in terms of usage as literary devices, as highly skilled as any MC that we've had in terms of his usage of literary devices. And if we were to transition him into the writing sphere as just like the writer of a book, he would be one of our foremost writers in the vein of a W.E.B., a Langston Hughes, and Alex Haley, a Toni Morrison, and Alex Haley. Like he would be there as a writer, and so it's like, and I'm saying this to say this respectfully, he wouldn't be classified with Donald Goins.
I think that for me, and maybe I'm wrong, I could be right or wrong, because I see some people in the chat agree with
Or
some
Sister
of.
Soldier. He wouldn't be classified with Sister Soldier or Donald Goins. You feel me?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people in the chat agree with this sentiment, but I think that the versatility of somebody like a Scarface, Jay Z, and Wayne keeps me from them in that kind of category. Because
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying.
because I feel like with gangster rap, like you said, if you're a gangster rapper or whatever, I'm expecting that on your records, like pretty much every record. You're not gonna have a give it to me. You don't have those kind of, you know what I'm saying? And I
And that's
think
the
that when
problem.
Jay does get into his quote unquote, like what's his most gangster song then? If we're gonna play that game, because I know somebody said in the chat American Gangster or whatever, that was after a movie. You know what I'm saying?
I think,
Like,
truthfully,
yeah, the Evils.
I was about to say it's either the evils or friend or foe, Mike, because it's really like the most realistically sinister that you'll see him be. Like that shit on friend or foe, you draw better be Picasso. You know the best, because if this is not so, no, I can see him talking shit like that on the street. Like he talks shit like that. I can see him being cool. Like friend or foe for me is probably it because I can see him being cool like that in that moment, like having a nigga cornered and being like you really didn't think that you was gonna come up on my corners and do this shit, nigga. Like I know you didn't think that that shit was gonna happen. Let me tell you how we gonna run this, because I don't like no murder on my block, and I don't like this shit being. No, I can totally see him doing that. So to me, that's the evil shit, because it's like, oh no, he did that.
Jay has a huge catalog, man, and I feel like, and I'm just ballparking it here. I feel like maybe 15% of his catalog is on some gangster shit. You know what I'm saying?
Not even. That's what I mean.
I
Because
don't even know if
that's
it's
what I mean.
that. I'm being generous there.
Because a lot of it is hustlers' tales, Mike. It's like
Exactly.
not all these tales end in a shootout, or
You
people don't die in these tales. Like
right.
that's
You
what I'm
don't
saying.
know
He's
it's
a
not a
hustler.
gangster rap song. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Like when he's saying 3 shots, close range, never touch me, divine intervention. That's not a gangster. That's not gangster.
Right.
He's letting you know I'm lucky to be here. He's like, somebody shot at me close range 3 times and they didn't hit me. Like, thank God. That's not gangster, Mike. That's saying thank God I'm here. He literally says divine intervention.
Yeah. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, Yay on Drink Champ said Lupe was gangster. He said he wouldn't pull up on Lupe and that Lupe has you thinking he's conscious. Is Lupe gangster now? But again, we talking about personal life. You know what I'm saying? Like, people say that Loon was out here in the streets doing whatever, whatever. But when you listen to Loon's music, it wasn't that. I can't classify. I don't know Lupe, so I can't really
People said that about
give you an
Nelly too,
answer.
Mike. That was the
Yeah,
same thing
exactly.
with Nelly. It was like
Exactly.
Nelly was the one that was really in the streets. I was like, perfect.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So we can only talk about what we know on record. And on record, nah. LP with the super chat says, speaking on negativity doesn't make you negative. Glorifying negativity does. A gangster rapper, in my opinion, glamorizes it. Even worse if they don't live it. See, I agree with that. And again, I think that
But
gangster
what say
rap
you about
list
Doggy
is
Style?
shorter.
Before you go further, what say you about Doggy Style being a gangster rap album? That's what I mean. No, that's what gangster rap sounds like to me. Because it's like,
Is it a sound or a message?
it's a sound more to me. That's what I'm saying. Like Gin and Juice, it's like that sound. Let Me Ride, The Shiznit, Murder Was the Case. Like, it's that sound, it's that feeling, it's that vibe. It's something around the aura and the persona of the music that puts you in a certain vibe or a mood. Like the Chronic and Doggy Style are gangster rap masterpieces. They're like The Godfather Part 1 and 2.
That sound can't really be duplicated by a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And
It's a very distinct niche. What you have is people that delve into the sound or have a placement within the sound. Like Ice Cube is somebody that has a placement within the sound, but I wouldn't call him a gangster rapper. He got some gangsta ass tendencies sometimes, just like Scarface does.
I personally, I disagree with you. I think if you're going to label anybody as the author of mainstream gangster rap, it is Ice Cube. It's
See,
straight
that's
out
what I
because it
mean.
all
See,
starts
no,
with
no,
Straight
no.
Outta
See,
Compton,
he
and he's
might
the
be the
author
author
of
of
that.
it, Mike. But when you really look at what his career amasses, you're talking about Straight Outta Compton.
No, I
More
agree
than
with you.
Ice Cube, the solo rapper.
That's
Because
what I'm saying.
this is what I mean about gangster rap is more of a sound. Like Mike, A Bird in Hand is a gangsta ass song to me. You feel me? That's a gangsta ass West Coast classic song. You feel me? Now, is he talking about gang banging and shooting them up and selling drugs on there? It's like, yes, but how is he talking about it, Mike? You see, that's what I'm saying. It
He's
don't have
not
to be negative
glorifying
for
it
it to be gangster.
Like LP said. When you're glorifying it, I can put you in that category, and that's why I
So
feel
Gin and
like,
Juice would be gangster rap to you
honestly,
then.
man, that's why I feel like it was. I was kind of insulted when he threw Scarface's name in there because
Very
Scarface doesn't glorify gangster life, man. He's giving you the pros, cons. Actually,
Yeah, the hard
he's giving you the cause and effect.
The
You know
hard
what I
truth.
mean? The harsh truth. He's never glorified this shit. All the way down to, Mom playing tricks on me his ghetto boy days. The only time I guess you could possibly say that is certain points on Mr. Scarface's back, maybe. But everything else, and especially during the time period that Kanye worked with him, he wasn't glorifying this street shit. And I think that's a real insult for Talib to put Scarface in that category. I am prolific with the super chat says Mike is right about Talib. Every thought doesn't need to be vocalized, especially if you can potentially cause issues with your core fan base. It's just about being a decent person. Like many people in this chat, and we love the fact that you guys support the show and check us out every Wednesday, Friday, and some people on Monday. But when we don't agree, I don't just call you stupid, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's a way to handle things. It's weird when you can't disagree on a level where you're able to actually communicate and get somewhere with it. Because he'll start out the gate just insulting people. And it's like, dude, you're an artist. And artists need fan support. Let's just keep it real. You're an artist and a podcaster. All of those things need fan support. And to isolate the people who are actually out here supporting you and who think enough to follow you on social media and engage in your topics, it's not a good look.
You want to know what though? I truly believe, and here's the best way that I can just kind of like wrap this up on my end at least, and you can maybe piggyback off of it if you find it to be viable. These breaking downs of like, different genres of rap, for me, they only exist for the people who don't exist at the top. And listen to what I'm saying when I say that. It's a way for them to exist in their own sphere and in their own lane and get ranked high a certain way. When I'm saying Ice Cube isn't a gangster rapper and Scarface isn't a gangster rapper to me, it's because when I listen to the amass of the material that they've done, the diversity and the agility that they have exuded, there's nothing about that that should be coined for just one thing. Right. They are one of the all-time greatest MCs, respectively, between the two of them. So when you're dealing with when people talk about Kobe or LeBron or King or Bird or Magic or Mike or now KD and Steph, people talk about where they rank, like in their position, but they only talk about that because they're already an all-time great. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, these categories only exist to try to give people significance who aren't as high up on the food chain. And that's why I don't like calling Ice Cube a gangster rapper, because you calling Ice Cube and Scarface a gangster rapper is actually taking away from their all-time greatness.
I mean, again, Jay-Z, man. Like, to put Jay-Z in that catalog,
none of these guys are gangster rappers. Raekwon and Ghostface, not gangster rappers to me. You feel what I'm saying? They're just all-time great rappers.
Right. For him to put Jay-Z in, for most people, is a top 3 MC all-time, period. For him to put Jay-Z in this conversation, I think is insulting. And like I said, maybe 10 to 15% of Jay-Z's whole catalog is on some gangster shit. Over the past 20 years, I can't tell you the last gangster song that Jay made. Probably Threats or something, and that was a joke. You know what I mean? Like,
this is what I mean. These categories really only exist to give credence to the people who didn't have the agility to get ranked up as high on the bar.
You're talking about the conscious
Ice Cube is a gangster rapper because Ice Cube can make any damn song he wants to make it sound good. He's one of our all-time greatest rappers. Now, that's what I'm saying. He can delve into the foray of making a gangster rap song. He may even be one of the authors of a gangster rap sound. But if you think that encompasses who that man is as an MC, you haven't been listening or paying attention to the totality of his catalog and what he has to say. You're pigeonholing him by calling him a gangster rapper.
Well, see, this will be my question, though, to Talib. What prevents Ice Cube, Scarface, Tupac, or Nas from being a conscious MC?
Tupac wrote Dear Mama and Brenda's Got a Baby.
Why are they not conscious rappers?
Keep your head up. It doesn't get more conscious. That's more conscious than anything Talib's ever done.
36 Chambers with a super chat says, hustling drugs, dealing, and thugged out rhetoric are all thrown in gangster rap. It's an umbrella term for anything in hip hop that is not conscious. But again, so how do you feel about Tupac then? Because that just blows up any argument that anybody would say. You want to say Tupac's more gangster rap than conscious? Because that's not a fact.
It's not true.
Yeah.
No, you don't have enough songs to show that.
You don't.
You get what I'm saying? You don't have enough gangster-ass songs from Tupac to say that. You have an album and a half worth of material.
Yeah. Eric Terrell with the super chat says, the first Ghetto Boys album was gangster and horror. Yes. Yeah, so if you're not going to put Tupac, Nas, say Ice Cube in these conscious rapper categories, they need to blow the whole category up, man. And I'm with blowing up this whole gangster rap category too, because I don't even know what it means, to be honest with you.
I don't like the whole conscious rap category thing either, because it's almost like, you want to know what it is? It's almost like saying like, well, these niggas can't talk about the street shit as good as these other dudes, so we're going to call them conscious.
Right. Because again, you tell me what's the difference between New York State of Mind and any other conscious rap song you ever heard. Why is New York State of Mind not a conscious rap record? Because y'all don't want to compete with Nas.
No, not because you don't want to, because you can't. And so you have to create a category to compete. You feel what I'm saying?
Kendall Outlaw said Bone Thugs and Harmony and NWA were gangster rappers. When Bone switched it up, sales were low. But what makes what Bone does gangster, though? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it's such a blanket term, and we don't have a
Like,
real definition for it. It seems like I said, it's a media created term by people who don't even listen to hip hop. That's why we can't really categorize it like that.
right.
I mean,
The
but
cool,
yeah,
the cool, the G and G rap does not stand for gangster.
well, I also want to address the thing where he was talking about Ye and his misogyny in his music. Where is the misogyny in Kanye West's music? I mean, maybe the people can help me out.
This is why I want him to stop because here's where he's losing. Labeling Jay Z and Scarface gangster rappers is not helping you. This
And Lil
continued
Wayne,
tirade,
too.
Lil Wayne, this continued tirade and diatribe against Kanye, it's not helping your cause. You have to understand that you're not doing things that's helping you. Now, you might be free and speaking your mind and doing what you want, and you're entitled to do that. I'm going to quibble again over and over. Are you interested in winning battles or winning wars? Because I'm a grown ass man who likes to win the war. And so, what I'll do sometimes is step back and live to fight another day the right way instead of wearing myself out picking a lot of little battles that are maybe going to take the energy and the strength necessary out of me when you need a real boss to fight.
Our legacy with the super chat says this murder is more than an isolated event. These murders are more than a trend. It is becoming a part of our culture. It is the self hate it breeds into us. I mean, who is us? I think that
Like
there's criminality.
Lil
There's
Wayne's first single off the Carter one is Go DJ. The first single off the Carter two is Fireman. The first single off the Carter three is Lollipop. Gangsta rapper, what?
right. Well, to that whole thing with us and this and that, I mean, there's violence everywhere. And if you look at the data, you know, it probably wouldn't show what you think it shows. Now, I will say that black culture, and we've spoken on this on the show before, we kind of just lead culture in America and possibly the world in general. So when things happen in black culture, yes, they get magnified to a degree that it doesn't in other cultures. I get that. Um, but again, what people need to do all around is just figure out a way to disagree
I
without
got a
going off the
question. Hold
handle
on.
and pulling out the hammer. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. Because
Hold on, let
people are
me
going to
ask you something.
disagree. Let's not sit here and act like we're going to end all fights and all disagreements and everybody's just going to, you know what I'm saying, live happily ever after. People are going to disagree. But you got to
Yes.
understand how to disagree and how to get through an argument. That's it.
Hold on. Mike, you and I not on like first of all, for 10 years on social media and for 2.5 years of doing this show, have got up here and argued and disagreed vehemently tons of times.
Yeah.
And we have changed each other's mind tons of times. And we always come back to the same place and space of sometimes being able to agree or disagree, being like, hey, hold on, you got me. You get what I'm saying? But you want to know why that happens? There's respect, love, and trust there. And that's what's missing from these situations that people are talking about. The rapper shouldn't be in. See, what you're talking about isn't the environment. You're talking about respect, trust, and love. Because if respect and trust and love was in that room, Takeoff would still be here. It's not about the environment. It's about the respect. It's about the trust. It's about the love. Let's not mistake this shit. It's about the murder. You feel what I'm saying?
You're right.
We got to stop making it. We got to stop making. Oh, it's the environment that these rappers in. No, it's the lack of trust and respect and love is why he's not here. Because if the trust and the respect and the love was where the fuck it was supposed to be, he would be here today. Period.
I don't know if y'all can tell, but it's a tough show to do and even talk about, man, because such a sad situation. Eric Terrell says, what Talib called Curtis Mayfield gangsta superfly. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like how easily we
Hold
forget.
on. Is Pour Out a Little Liquor against the rap song to y'all?
Well, I mean, somebody's quoting New York State of Mind right now. There's like, pick my Mac up, Toe Brothers back up, the Mac spit.
That was it.
Yeah.
Niggas I made them backflip.
Is that gangster rap?
Scream, arm shit couldn't look. Gave another squeeze. Heard it click. Yo, my shit is stuck.
Is that
Tried to
gangster
cock
rap?
it.
I mean,
It
if you
wouldn't
put
see
the
how I'm
if you put the
dancing.
words on the paper, that's gangster rap, right? If you read that off the paper, you don't know who it is. That would be quote unquote gangster rap, right?
Hold on. If Easy E says those bars it's the hardest shit ever.
Right, it's gangster rap then if Easy E says it. And if it's
Easy
over
says
like some
that's what I mean. We can't.
808s.
It's not
Yeah.
right.
Now, you know what? I'm going to say this right here and right now, man. Ain't no gangster rap. And until
That's
we
what I
can
mean.
actually get.
Like it's more of a sound to me than it is like a rhetoric. That's what I keep trying to say. It's like it's how it feels. When I hear "Let Me Ride," it's like, oh no. That's what gangster rap sounds like. I
You
don't know
speaking
about
about
what
G
the
Funk.
lyrics.
That's different. Funk is an actual thing. Funk comes from
Okay,
a
you want to
feeling,
know? I
and
might
funk comes from
hold on.
instruments.
Hold on. I might be wrong. And you might be right. I might be talking more about that G Funk sound. That is how I associate and attach my gangster rap from the age demographic that I fall in. I grew up on the Chronic and Doggy
Yeah.
Style and Dog Food.
Ain't no such thing as gangster rap until we can find out who actually coined this phrase and why, and who's actually running behind it. At least with trap music, we could track it down to like T.I.'s album or whatever, and other people picked it up and kind of ran with it. I don't know where this gangster rap thing came from. As far as like, you know what I'm saying, somebody speaking it and saying, okay, this is that and this is not. We don't have any rules for it. I think trying to label people in gangster rap, like you said, it's kind of like a good and evil thing where it's like you got conscious rap and gangster rap. These are the good guys, these are the bad guys. Nah.
Well, hold on. Can we have a quick conversation about somebody who whose birthday is today?
Mm-hmm.
Who is
I was gonna bring
arguably
him up too.
let's bring him up because I think he is the first litmus test of it. Now, what do you hear when you hear P?
I hear dope MC on some hard beats, and you know,
Thank
and
you. Okay,
honestly,
so
and
let's
like
get
you
this. Is what I
said,
keep saying. It's like, well, he's a dope ass MC first, Mike. Like the guy on Give Up the Goods. That's a street nigga, but that's a top tier. Yo, Queens get the money, long time, no cash. I'm caught up in the hustle when the guns go blast. The fool retaliated, so I had to think fast. Pulled out my heat first, he pulled out my heat last. Now, who the fuck you think is living to this day? I'm trying to tell these young niggas crime don't pay.
Hey,
But
see, but
look
see
at me and
that
say,
right
Queens
there.
niggas don't play. Do your thing. I'll do mine, kid. Stay out of my way. It's type hard trying to survive in New York State. Can't stop till I'm eating off a platinum plate. Po come around and try to relocate me, lock me up forever, but they can't deflate me because having cash is highly addictive, especially when you're used to having money to live with. I take a step back, look at my life as a hoe. Look at, ain't no love. It seems the devil done stole my soul. I'm out Philadelphia, selfie. P's not helping you. I'm trying to get this Lexus up, plus a cellular. Yo, Big Noid, what up, cousin? I can't cope with all these crab niggas trying to shorten my rope.
What's gangster about that? He's talking about his life, man. He's
And he's
talking about
telling people
life.
to stay away from it and reiterate it.
Exactly.
On the last verse, Mike reiterates again. My whole crew is famous. You tried to bust your gat and keep it real, but you nameless. First of all, slow down. You on the wrong route. Let me put you on the map, show you what it's all about. The street life ain't nothing to play with. No jokes, no games, kid. For years, I've been doing the same shit, just drinking liquors, doing bids, extorting crackheads, and sticking up the stick-up kids.
Those are cautionary tales.
That's what it sounds like to me, Mike. I told you when I heard that shit, it was like that wasn't get involved in the street. That was like keep your ass out the street and go to college, nigga.
Goody Mob was like that too. You know what I'm saying? Like when you listen to Soul Food, and I think that's why I highlight Cujo so much on that album because he sounded like that guy who was out there. I'm not preaching to you. I'm just telling you how it is, and you can hear it in his voice. And he wasn't glorifying anything. He was basically telling you to go the right direction without telling you to go the right direction. See, I think these conscious cats, man, they have this holier than thou mentality. And it's like, dude, from a content perspective, you're no more conscious than a CeeLo or Cujo to me, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, what separates you from Andre and Big Boy?
I'm done even with the holier than thou rhetoric. That's what I mean. It's like I'm truly gonna start acting and behaving like the better man in the situation.
I mean, I'm just calling it what it is.
No, Mike. Let's get to the crux of it. Like you said, Mike, these quote unquote conscious rappers, well, they're not as versatile as the quote unquote gangster / drug dealer mafioso rapper. That's the reality of the matter. These niggas can't make Warning and they can't make One More Chance. How about that? That's the problem. You can't make If I Rule the World or The Setup either. You can't make nigga what, nigga who in a week ago. That's what the fuck is really going on. You can't make a bird in hand and straight out of Compton. You can't make never seen a man die and going down. That's what the motherfucking problem is with these categories. You can't show the flexibility like our true all-time greats do to make those type of songs. All right?
It's reality. I mean, we saw Common try with Universal Mind.
That's reality. Hold on. You can't even make Bring the Pain and I'll Be There For You. You can't.
36
You don't
Chambers.
know how to flip your style enough, and you're not going to be considered as high. And that's just it at the end of the day.
36.
What is Jada Kiss, Mike?
Huh?
What is Jada Kiss?
Right. Is Jadakiss a gangster rapper?
He's an MC. We all know he's an MC, Mike.
36 Chambers with the super chat says, Talib has been doing this to illustrate the point that Ye is not the most positive influence given his rhetoric and actions lately. Long-standing beef. You know what? Let's just be perfectly honest here. And, you know, personal shit aside, musically, from a mainstream standpoint, you guys show me a more positive MC on record than Kanye West.
I know it's past visiting hours. Can we please send her these flowers? Stay a heart to take the anesthesia. It might send the body into the seizure. Yeah.
And you know what? And to be real, man, like, and I know everybody has different belief systems, but he had the balls to make a Jesus Walk in 2004 and make it a single and shoot 3 videos for it. Haven't seen any conscious MCs do anything that ballsy.
I mean, Kanye has said tons of positive things on record. Now, what he says for public fodder lately, you know, is debatable and not on a personal level the biggest fan of. But let's not make it seem like this is some sort of incendiary soul who makes these like these mafioso gangsta ass rap records where he's like shooting up half of Chicago like in the record. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, we can't erase 20 years.
He's actually got it highlights the problems of it. 30
exactly.
Killings in a week. 30 killings in a week. Man, the summer too high. You can feel it in your sleep.
Yeah. Murder to excellence. Jay Short with the super chat says, was the way Talib talking to Jaguar right misogynistic? Glass House. There we go.
Ooh.
Marquez,
hold on. Listen, let's not get. I hate when these rappers, Mike. I mean, I was just on a thread where we talking about how rappers behave towards women in relationships. I'm tired of rappers like Talib talking about misogyny when they know how they behave towards women in their personal lives. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, no, mostly, I mean, not being funny, but it's like most of you rappers got like women in like every other city, including the conscious ones. Like the conscious ones too, y'all. It ain't just the niggas that be having ice on and gold in their mouth. They got a broad in every city. Like, I want people to understand that.
Well, I'm sure the reason.
Like, not to be funny, how many famous women have you seen Common pop up with over the years, Mike? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He catch a new win more than a little bit. Stop playing with me.
And I'm
Stop
sure
lying to these people and acting like you don't swerve.
I'm sure on this misogyny topic, you know, Reese would have something to say as well. Because, you know, their whole situation went left and she had some accusations or whatever. Marquez Davis with the super chat says, Trapped changes, dear mama, keep your head up. Brenda's got a baby, unconditional love. Life goes on, teardrops in a casket. I just named about 10 songs Tupac made. No Gangsta. So right, Coop. Yeah. And you know what? You could put those songs up against some of the conscious MC's greatest 10 songs.
No, hold on.
And he would have way more to spare.
Hold on. There isn't a quote-unquote conscious rapper with 10 more heartfelt, bigger, or thought-provoking songs than Tupac. Not Common, not Thought, not Most, none of them. If you take Tupac's 10 most thoughtful songs, put them quote unquote next to these conscious rappers, Mike, he would blow them out the water.
I'll put it.
There's a big difference between Dear Mama and Get By. Get the fuck out of here.
Listen.
Now we talking music. Let's be realistic.
I want to put up a challenge. I want to put up a challenge.
So many is more impactful than anything Talib ever wrote, Mike. I'm sorry.
Cool. I want to put up a challenge. Let's get 20 of Tupac's socially conscious records and put them up against any of the conscious MCs and their 20 records. You got a 20 pack.
They need to put all their conscious records together.
To
combat him.
No,
because
I
they're
want to
losing
know.
on a
I
one-on-one.
want to know if Talib has a 20 pack for Tupac's positive, conscious records. That's what I
Mike,
want to know.
we don't even want to. And this is what I'm saying. I'm
I'm
gonna be
just
the better
saying.
man, Mike. No, Mike. That's what I keep saying about being the better man. We're not even going to embarrass Talib like that. You would need to put Talib's best, most best, Common's best, and Thought's best together in a 20 pack to compete with Tupac fairly.
And that's just leaving out all of his mainstream stuff. That's just his conscious stuff.
Mike, Brenda's Got a Baby, Dear Mama, Streets are Death Row, So Many Tears, Changes, I Wonder If Heaven Got a Ghetto, Keep Your Head Up, I Ain't Mad at You. Feel me, Mike?
Only
Blowout.
God could judge me.
Blowout.
Life goes on. Did you say that?
Pour out a little liquor.
Pain. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, how do y'all think hip hop would be different if we didn't get the gangster rap term? Hadn't it not been coined in the NWA era? Do you feel like the term gangster has hurt the art and limited the integrity? I feel like the whole gangster rap term played a hand in Tupac and Biggie's demise. Yes, I do.
Man, do not get pimp slapped by Tupac's conscious catalog. See, this is what I'm saying. People don't really listen to Strictly for My Niggas and Me Against the World like they should. Like, he's got more conscious and impactful stuff on those two albums, Mike, than most of these guys whose whole careers are built off of it. And they still don't have the level of quality of songs that he has. This is a joke.
Jay Short with the super chat says, weed and incense don't win wars. Agreed. Eric Terrell with the super chat says, Johnny Cash was talking criminal stuff, but country music didn't get a new category. But rap, they treat it different. Yeah, they treat it like it's criminality. You know what I mean? Like, you have to find a way to treat the people who've actually made it out of a situation as criminals, even when they're successful. And that's how I feel the term gangster rap plays. You know what I mean? Like, you're a gangster still, even though you're a recording artist.
Man, Pac used to say stuff, Mike, if I wonder if the Heaven Got a Ghetto come out, I just realized how prophetic that man was and how in tune he was with the consciousness of black people. When he said, and now Bush can't stop the shit, I predicted the shit into apocalypse. He was talking like that on record on his unreleased stuff. Like, they not even fucking with Pac on a conscious level.
Yeah, Bush couldn't stop the hit. They weren't saying those kind of things.
Into apocalypse. And I predicted on my first album the Bush problems that we were going to have administratively. And he did, because he was connected like that to the community and consciously. Now,
well, he's talking, and I want to clarify for our audience out there that might be younger. You're talking about Bush.
Oh, My Block.
Bush
you just
singer.
said My Block Off the Show soundtrack. That's what I'm saying. Like, My Block Off the Show soundtrack is better than everything most of these guys have made, Mike. I don't even know if it would make Tupac's top 10.
Pac was talking about George Sr. T Nitty with the super chat says, Styles P Gangsta. Talib made an album with him. Yep. They had a dope effort together. Styles had a run that year. That was what, 2018? He put out like 3 projects, I think. Or am I no, I'm thinking about when he did the album with Dave East, man. Styles has a career. And see,
great career.
I mean, do we label, again, that's what I'm saying. I don't like the gangster rap term because I can't really define it too much. And it's so many. Is gangster rap somebody, like you said, that speaks like Prodigy or Scarface? And if so, how is that different than Nas? Because when you were quoting the give up the goods verse, that shit sound like the New York State of Mind verse to me. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about lyrically.
No, Mike, Prodigy's message is actually more uplifting on Give Up the Good than Nas is on New York State of Mind.
Exactly.
Nas' frame on New York State of Mind is more bleak than Prodigy is on Give Up the Good. That's why I'm saying, it's like, what is he talking?
Gangster rap is kind of like an image, right? I don't know. I can't pinpoint it. And again, when he threw Lil Wayne in there, I'm like, damn. I mean, like you said, his singles are Lollipop, The Block is Hot,
Go DJ.
Yeah, Go DJ.
Fireman.
Where You At? The Way of Life. Ain't nothing gangster about these records.
7 foot, 8 foot.
Yeah.
Those are lead
Millie,
singles.
a Millie is a gangster rap song.
Mike, Comfortable with Babyface?
A Millie sold the million records. That's a gangster rap song, huh?
Hold on, Got Money with T-Pain?
Right.
Gangsta?
Blue Collar Hustle says Common and
Sounds like a
Nas
crossover rap star to me, man.
Common and Nas have said they are not gangster rap because gangster rap doesn't exist. It doesn't. Can we say that from here on out?
Well, then hold on. Then there have to be certain people that stop embracing it. Like, let's go. Hold on. Let's go to Hand of the Dead Body off the Diary.
Mm-hmm. I just don't understand how Scarface is not a conscious
He said
rapper.
David Duke's got a shotgun. So why the fuck you mad that I got one? A tisket, a tasket. The nigga got his ass kicked. You get what I'm saying?
What's not? But see, I view that as consciousness.
That's what I mean. So no. The reason that I love Hand of the Dead Body so much is because it's two people getting together that are being coined gangster rappers to show you what it is that they really do on the mic, which is to give you an image of what's really going on in their neighborhoods. And here's the reality of the matter is that, well, because the systemic and institutional racism and realism exists, the powers that be do not like it when we speak on these matters in a conscious variety. And thereby at the time, the way the times worked at the time, the way to label our rappers who were speaking this way was to call them gangster because it was too controversial to the norm that was going on. That's what Hand of the Dead Body is talking about. Nigga, don't believe that song, that nigga's wrong. Gangsters don't live that long.
Exactly.
Does that sound like a gangster rap song? That is the hook. Nigga, don't believe that song, that nigga's wrong. Gangsters don't live that long.
Is it possible, Cool?
How more conscious do you want them to be?
Exactly. Is it possible that the real conscious rappers like the Tupacs, the Scarfaces, the Ice Cubes, shit,
the
even
Nas's,
the Chuck D's and Nas's, they got labeled something else so people wouldn't actually listen to them on that level and validate their message. It's almost like, the Black Panther Party and Malcolm X, because they were speaking so aggressively, then you label them as aggressors as opposed to actual revolutionaries and people who were peaceful, actually. You know what I mean? I feel like with the aggression that Q and Face, Pac, and Chuck came with, they couldn't label them conscious because that would validate their message too much. So they had to put a gangster term behind it.
Correct.
To actually add
Correct.
some level of negativity.
No. It's an invalidation phraseology. It's like if you call Tupac and Ice Cube and Scarface gangster, it invalidates the socially conscious message and theme of it.
Yeah. So it's like these guys are radicals. You don't want to listen to what they're saying.
Right. That's not what's really going on. It's like, oh, no. Yes, it is. That's why I love the Diary so much.
They're just angry.
It's like, no. You can tell from the way Face is talking, it's like, no, he's made it. But the neighborhood don't look good, Mike. And he's letting you know that the neighborhood don't look. When you rolling through your motherfucking hood, tell me what you see.
Those videos.
Jeez.
In my opinion, man, those Scarface videos back in the day are some of the most underrated rap videos of all time. Like,
right. Never Seen a Man Die is probably rap's most underrated rap video, Mike.
It's crazy because the way he was able to actually be so descriptive and with his feeling and the way that he was articulating what was going on and how you feel when you hear his music, the video was showing you the same thing. Like, none of those videos ever shorted what he was doing. Even Now I Feel You. Like, you look at those videos, you're like, damn.
Right. I'm like, even going back to Mom Playing Tricks on Me when he's sitting in the room with the candles burning, you're like, oh, shit. Like,
those videos are amazing.
Oh, shit, they really down in South Houston, like, shooting oh shit, like it was different, Mike. Like,
even Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster and shit. Like, those videos are awesome.
Let Me Roll.
It's like a movie. And of course, Minute to Pray, Second to Die. Blue Collar Hustle with the super chat says, sorry, Com said that he's not a conscious rapper. He's an MC. Nas said on the Colbert Show in 2008 that he's not a gangster rapper. He's a hood reporter. So if Common's not a conscious rapper, I don't think anybody is. I'm just going to be real.
Actually, you want to know what, too? Like, Nas actually said that, too, on the Firm album with Foxy Brown.
Yeah,
Only bad quarters, not a thing shorter. Then a dime rhyme like a crime scene reporter.
yeah.
Like he's always been the crime scene reporter rapper. That's what the setup is. That's what shootouts is. That's what the message is. That's what I gave you power is. It's what New York State of Mind is.
Yeah.
It's what memory lane is. It's what represent is. It's what one love is.
I feel like they've been denouncing this gangster rap category since the beginning. Who embraces it actually? Like, which of the greats actually who are considered to be gangster rappers actually embrace it?
That's funny. I think the only person who actually embraces it is a producer, which would be Dr. Dre.
Yeah, he's not a
Not
rapper.
actually any of the rappers,
Yeah.
no. Because even
Um,
how about this? What do you think "Get Rich or Die Trying" is? Is that a gangster rap album to you?
I would say it is if you want to say that there is one. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Would you think the documentary is a gangster rap album?
yeah. I would say that maybe the game embraces that term, but
That's
again,
what I'm saying. Most of our
that
gangster rap
term
albums
is
are actually coming out of one spear if we actually start looking
yeah.
at it.
That
From one
term is
producer,
way
actually.
after their time, though. I feel like
I mean, no, but it looks like there appears to be like one producer that's attached to this theme, and it's not
yeah.
an artist thing, is what I'm saying.
I mean, other than that, I would say you know what I'm saying MC8 and you know what I mean, but
Like this is what I mean when Prodigy says, "I put my lifetime in between these papers lines. I'm the quiet storm nigga who fight rhyme. P, yeah, you heard of them, but I ain't concerned with them. Nigga, I pop more guns than you holding them." Like, how is that any different than the crime scene reporting that Nas does on the setup? My mind set. Son got vexed. I'm vexed, really. He snatched up his Rolex, snatched his big silly. While niggas acting ill, word to Will, he about to feel it. I feel it. We should have been dealt with it. Them niggas sour. They put too much flour in their coat. They got the nerve to wonder why they broke. While we were scheming, niggas was scheming. Seeming ill, beamers, beaming, triple beaming, double and cream. Had them fiending to get the fingers on the dosa. I call Sosa. These niggas hit the god, bring the toaster. Meet me in the bridge, I'm about to go loca. Left my rack begging me to stay a stroker. Like, what's more gangster? What Prodigy saying on Quiet Storm or what Nas is saying on the setup? You see how I keep juxtaposing Nas and Prodigy? Because Prodigy is the one that's always looked at as the gangster rapper. Nas is the one that really be saying the more gangster shit, Mike. You know that, right?
right. No, you're right. That's my whole point.
Nas be the one talking the gangster shit more than Prodigy do. Prodigy doesn't talk gangster shit. Like Nas talks that more, what you would typify as a gangster rhetoric, even more than Prodigy does. Prodigy is the one that's looked at as the hardcore gangster rapper between the two. Nas is the conscious guy.
They never really labeled Nas as a conscious MC either.
But, no. I'm saying in juxtaposition to Prodigy, like when they're together, it's like he's the hardcore guy and Nas is the thinker. And it's like, you hearing the shit that Nas be saying? You know, silk shirt in my chest show, what a flirt. Like, who talking gangster, Mike?
Right.
Silk shirt in my chest show, what a flirt. Halle Berry blew a kiss at the Barbra Streisand concert.
Eric Terrell with the super chat says, Coop sound like Pac is the GOAT. He could be.
I mean, you know, him and Biggie's demise, Mike. I mean, Pac is. I mean, I still have Pac and Biggie in my top 5, and they were 25. Like,
that says
like
a lot
I had
about
Pac
their
up
work.
high still, Mike. Like I have Pac up high still, like high.
LP says New York State of Mind is a concept song. It's not a glamorization. I think of crime when I'm in a New York state of mind. He's talking about gangster within the mind state he's in.
Yeah, he does talk more gangster than Prodigy. That's what I be trying to tell. Like, you understand? Like, how about this? Since we talking about this dice game shit, you know how many times Nas has talked about dice games on record? Nasir Ben Aludara, Fish Kuala, fistful of dollars in the dice game, God. What happened in shootouts, Mike? What happened on the second verse in shootouts?
Dice game.
The shit broke out over what, Mike?
It was a dice game.
Nas be talking that gangster shit. That's why I'm saying it's like, what's gangster to you? It's like Nas. That's what I mean. It's like I just bought up the 50 grand CeeLo champs line from New York State of Mind. That's three Nas verses talking about a dice game. When you hear Prodigy talking about shooting dice, Mike.
They find certain people to put them in that
Thank
box.
you. They find people to put in there. It's not about what you say, it's about who it is.
That's why I'm very surprised that Talib chose to put Jay-Z, Scarface, and Wayne in that gangster rap category. And I feel like that says something about how he views them from a skill standpoint, maybe. Because I feel like, you know, some of the conscious MCs feel like people who make, I would say, gangster rap, since this is what, you know, we're talking about, are at a certain skill level where they're at a other skill level.
That's what I mean. Like it's about skill and who they want to place in certain boxes. It's like,
Yeah.
well, here's the reality of the matter. Nas is so great that you can't put him in that box and say that he's conscious or say that he's gangster.
Well, if he would have done that, that would have stuck out like a sore thumb. Even though Jay stuck out like a sore thumb to me, but somebody could pull out certain records and justify that. But if he would have thrown Nas in that conversation, people were like, "Whoa!" Now he wasn't that
Right.
crazy to do that.
But this, hold on. But this is the same. Get down, Mike. I rolled with some Crips down to a Crenshaw funeral. Never seen so many men murdered, and I knew the whole responsible. Nigga still alive in the hospital.
You know what? I would put neither one of them in the category because, again, I don't think the category is even a thing. But if it was a thing, I probably would put Nas in the category before I put Jay in the category.
That's what I'm saying. Nas is the one that really be like talking like some real street talk. He's a like he said, I rhyme like a crime street reporter. So it's like if you want to say like gangster rap, it's like, well, Nas says more gangster shit than Prodigy does. He does. Because what Prodigy does is give you an emotional feeling about where he's coming from. I rose early morning, spread my wings yawning. Vague memory of last night. Now it's all dawning. Look down and seen dry blood all on my garments. It stained up my guest farmers. Color enormous. What's gangsta about that, Mike? He's horrified. He's expressing the horror of how he woke up from a gunfight. There ain't nothing gangsta about that. He's horrified.
Yeah.
Is you band of mice, thugs of the cowardly type. Ooh, he's talking about the pressure that he's under, Mike.
Great breakdown.
You know my science of life is you man or mice, thugs of the cowardly. Mike, that's philosophy. That's philosophical. You can teach that.
Jadarian with the super chat says, if Pac is conscious, what is Talib? Something else?
He's not on Pac's level of even being conscious. That's why these categories exist, because it's easier to put Pac in a gangster rap category and forget that if there's going to be a conscious rapper, it's probably Pac, and he's the greatest conscious rapper ever. But you want to know what that would do? That would crush all these other guys, so we can't put him in that catalog.
Well, if Common denounces the conscious rapper title and genre, subgenre, I don't think there is one then. Because I put Common in that category before I put Black Thought in there. Black Thought's a beast.
Thought be talking street shit.
Yeah.
215, dumb shit aside.
Yeah, I'm Black Thought's not. If Common's not in the category,
done, what am I, the God of the microphone? Praise the Lord. Any MC disagree with me? Razors. No, he talking like a street nigga talk, Mike.
Who's left?
Street niggas talk like that. Like you got a problem, come see me with your problems. That's street shit, Mike.
Are we putting KRS in the conscious category? Because he rapped the street shit too.
And that's what I mean. It's like, and here's what I mean about being from the streets. Like, well, all these dudes is from the streets to me. Common from the south side of Chicago. Black Thought from south side of Philly. Right. You know what I'm saying? Nas from Queensbridge. Face from Houston.
36
Jay from
Chambers.
Brooklyn.
Let me get to these
all these niggas from the street, Mike.
Yeah.
Everybody that's in rap from the street damn near. It's like not too many people can say it's like, I grew up in a suburb and I'm a big time rapper. It's like, no, that's not something normally gets said. Most of these niggas coming out of a hood.
Well, according to Consequence, Talib's from Park Slope.
It's very problematic. We weren't talking about Talib. We was talking about Black Thought, Nas, Common, Face Mob.
36 Chambers with the super chat says, how do we define drill then? There's some of it out there's some of it out there that actually glamorizes running up on ops and no underlining message. Is that gangster rap? Kids without a message glorifying that life. I think that's a good question. I feel like if they want to carry over this term, gangster rap, and put it on that, fine. But I think that the difference is the drill music term, the people who actually make that music created that title for it. And if they want to categorize themselves as that, and I don't listen to a lot of drill music, just the ones that might, cross over or break through. But I'm sure on some of those efforts, if they got to do a whole album or whatever, they're probably giving you some cautionary tales too, without even knowing it. I mean, because it's only so much you can glorify without actually having something substantial to say and, and actually speaking about the pain of it all. You know what I mean? LP with the super chat says, like Jesus said, have the heart of a dove and the mind of a serpent. That's what Pac, Nas, Face, Cube represent, in my opinion. Conscious but aware and not suckers.
Well,
Well,
I
what
was
does that
actually about
leave
to
the
bring up
conscious
Yasin.
rapper?
I think Yasin who said it best, actually. He's like, I'm not conscious, dog. I'm awake, dog. I'm doing great, dog.
Yeah, Uncle
So I
Francis
think that's
Super.
a simply, I think that's simply like the best way to put it. So it's like, nah, it's not conscious, and this is why I hate the conscious more than the gangster, and here's why. Because what you're doing when you're calling something conscious is that I feel like that's the white man, and I literally mean it that way as it's intended, like trying to consciously make the intelligent separated from the rest of the diaspora in the culture when you call it conscious. It's like
It's
this
like the
is the
house in the
intelligent
field.
rap stuff.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like the house in the
It's like
field, right?
right. It's like this is the intelligent rap stuff that the intelligent, artistic, creative hip hop listener listens to. This is the medium of rappers you should listen to. And it's like that nigga can't make How Do You Want It?
But
And
the thing is,
America's
though,
Most
Coop,
Wanted and No More Pain. I don't want to listen to this nigga to feel like I got to listen to intelligent rap. Pac is very intelligent on Ambitions as a Rider. Mike, is Ambitions as a Rider a gangsta song? So many battlefield scars while driven in plush cars. His life as a rap star is nothing without war. Was born rough and rugged, addressing the mad public.
my
My
attitude is
attitude
fuck.
is fuck it because motherfuckers love it. To be a soldier.
Thing is, man, we listen
Like
to
that's
all of it.
poetically beautiful, Mike. That's a beautiful lead in. Like if a play was starting with that sort of force on Broadway, we would be like, who is this masterful playwright with these great oral skills coming
Right.
to the forefront with this power and this emotion?
Right.
Instead, it's like that nigga's gangster. Oh, suck my.
Well, this is the thing too, man. I mean, at the end of the day, we listen to all of it, and no one is sitting there like, "Oh man, nah, that's not conscious enough for me. I ain't listening to that." And I think the most well-rounded artists, they give you, like you said, a "How Do You Want It," and then you get a "Life Goes On" a couple tracks later. You know what I'm saying? Like you already get that balance from well-rounded hip hop artists. What is DMX? You know what I'm saying? DMX could be talking about robbing you 1 minute and then praying the next minute. You know what
See,
I'm saying?
X never really said he was a gangster rapper. He said, I'm the
Mm.
hardest nigga out. Like, and he
But
meant
he
that.
was
As in, like, I
conscious.
don't think these niggas are tougher than me.
I don't think there's anybody. There's a few artists. I'll say it like this: I don't think there's anybody since Pac emotionally on a mainstream level that touched
X is the
their
closest.
listeners to the level that X touched them. You know what I mean? Like people felt X where he was coming from, and I would say that X had conscious music as well. I mean, is that wrong to say?
See, this is what I mean. When you're labeling it conscious, I think that's even a dangerous thing. It's like, what do you label conscious? To be conscious is to be awake and to have a stream of thought running. And so, like, nobody is as conscious as DMX because he's one of our most honest people, just like there are very few people that are as conscious as Tupac because of how his stream of thought works. You get what I'm saying? Who are you
Right.
labeling conscious? Conscious is the stream of thought and the honesty and the emotion and the passability of it. You know?
We have labeled conscious rappers as the rapidy rap wordy big word
Right. That's what I
MCs.
mean. We try to make it intelligent rap. It's like, oh, you're talking about that artsy, like crafty stuff where it's like you don't hear about anybody being murdered, or you don't hear about any drugs being sold. You don't hear any crack being sold. You don't hear any despair. You know? Well, here's the reality of the matter. Our circumstances here in America come from a place of despair. And hip
And
hop
you
is one of
know,
the
not to cut you
one
off,
of the
but
springboards of it.
I
You
was
know?
just gonna say, Black Star's best song by far, in my opinion, actually takes on some of those themes on Respiration. Like I think that's the most street record they have, and I think it's their best song. Period.
You just heard them on Peppers with West Side Gun.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. I'm tired of hearing them sound better on other people's tracks than they did on that album. It's like, oh, y'all snapping on everybody. It's like, oh, you going in on everybody else's shit? It's like, oh, so you do just rap your ass off because you're a rapper. It doesn't have to be some sort of concentrated artsy. This is what I mean. They're sounding better when they're just getting on some rap shit and not trying to fit into this conscious thing that really doesn't belong to them anyway because it really doesn't exist. It's not real.
It's
It's not
not.
real, Mike.
I think we're uncovering that in today's show. I think gangster rap and
You can
conscious
rap
rap
your
ain't
ass
real.
off and be versatile, or you can't. You want to know what really happens when you start stripping it down? Well, we see how one dimensional you are as a rapper, and that's why some of them embrace it the way they do. And it's like, no, go make homo. All jokes aside, I get on you owe me a lot. I don't even know if these niggas can make you owe me. Maybe I need to stop talking about you owe me like that.
Uncle
Right.
Fran with the super chat says, "Guys, I don't want to divide here, but conscious rap needs gangster rap. Uh, taken against them represents 60% of their subject matter. I just think that they're well-rounded artists and people who are, somewhat one-dimensional." Melvin Wright with the super chat says, "Gangster rap was the label given for the West Coast rap back in the early '90s. Ice-T, NWA, Spice One, and the Ghetto Boys were lanes as well. Scarface just grew up." Exactly, but can you not grow out of gangster rap, right? Like that's the same thing with Ice Cube. Ice Cube grew up. You shouldn't be labeled that forever. And again, you didn't even give yourself this label. There's power in a name, especially when it's power when you give yourself a name and not allow others to name you for themselves.